When a metalcore band's audience grows up before the band does, what do you end up with? Now, I haven't been a very big fan of Misfire since about the Challenger album days, but I have listened to all of their work since. It's just not something I would really re-listen to. This song falls into a very similar fate to the last two albums. It feels like they didn't really know if they were allowed to stop being metalcore all the way and transition into a rock band, and I think that's why a lot of people lost interest. You try for too long to balance the music you actually want to make and trying to keep your longtime fans happy. There's this weird shift in newer fans that come in. As the band changes, they lose the old audience and maintain new ones. In the beginning of a band's career, they usually have something to say. There's usually a meaning behind everything. There's usually an intent or a purpose, but once you go on for too long, it seems like the business aspect of things starts to take over and it becomes less about following the dream and more about paying the bills. Obviously, paying your bills with music is great, and I would love for that to be the thing. It just is unfortunate that the way that things are marketed, in order to make any money, you have to sell yourself in this way. There's so much business to music now. You get songs that have no heart from bands that have to meet deadlines and write songs under a crunch or while touring, and you end up with some uninspired song. This track means something to the vocalist and you can definitely pick it apart, but it's so cliche to a listener that actually wants to think. Lyrically, it feels like these metal labels want their bands to be like pop stars. There's so much money put into this song's production, not just the sound, but the video too. It's insanely well made. High-res camera, costume and makeup, special and practical effects, doubling, car rentals, location shots with drones. Labels are just selling a look to younger kids now rather than people just listening to what they like. There's so much concern with image and making it easy for the broader audience to understand and relate to the songs. You start to lose the value of songwriting in general. Now I say fuck that noise. Make me think for once. Give me something deep. I don't want a spoon-fed breakup songs or vague self-reflection songs that are about learning a lesson but the song never actually going into depth about the lesson. Rather, they just tell the listener that they learned a lesson and we should just trust that. It's like the audio version of new school horror movies. They're just soulless paychecks at this point with everything that's so typical. There's no thought or subtlety. It feels like the Suits claimed another victim. Now, I've been pretty harsh on Memphis Misfire, but I'm by no means calling this band bad. Obviously, they've worked very hard to get to where they are, and I respect that. The problem isn't to blame these bands, it's the systems and the system that we support as consumers. We buy this heartless garbage for brief satisfaction, so guess what? They keep serving us hot, steamy garbage. The labels don't give a damn about the sound or the music. It's about an image and marketability. Now, with all the nice stuff being said, this song sounds like Matty Mullins cheated off a 1,000-foot crutches test and still got an F. Yo, when did Milky Mullets digivolve into Jeremy McKinnon? I did it because it's the old him. He's burying it like moving on. It's a Memphis-made metaphor. Listen, I know you've been doing metalcore your whole life and have probably never seen a shovel before, but someone is for sure going to find that body. You left like an inch of space between the body and the top of the hole. What happens to the old... What the fuck? You literally just buried him in the ground. What do you mean what happened to him? What did I just say? You burying him literally did nothing. It didn't even sort of stop him. He's 5 seconds behind your car. You're a horrible killer. Now he is fighting himself. Do you get the subtle metaphor? Coming to the song's conclusion, I have a few closing thoughts. I think the screams are used well for the thing that they're trying to go for. It definitely fits the more radio audience. It's very sparing, and I think it fits well. I don't think the screams are good per se, but they definitely fit into a normal audience. I think it hits what it needs to hit. I think the lyrics have a thought-provoking point, but I don't think that they're presented in a thought-provoking or really creative manner in any way. It sounds like he's been working relentlessly towards success or a goal, and now that he's achieved it, he doesn't have a purpose anymore, and I think that's where the unhappiness that he's feeling is coming from. I don't believe that it's a representation of his old self being more happy. I think it was his old self being more driven, and now that he's in success, it's hard to be more driven once you're already in it. How do you step above your dream that you've had your entire life? Once you achieve it, what's the next step? It takes a lot of self-evaluation and a lot of self-happiness and self-discovery to really take that next chapter or become happier with yourself and truly find who you are and what you want to do in this life. It's a very deep topic not many talk about. The tragedy of striving and working really hard to get to the top of the mountain, and once you get there, there's no one else there. It's just you. You're still lonely, you're still unhappy, you have all this money to solve all those temporary problems, but you're still unhappy. I think that's what the point that he's writing about. I just don't think he sees that that's where the unhappiness is coming from. Self-happiness is immensely more important than money, because once you achieve all that money, you're still left with all that emptiness. You came for a song review and you left with some important knowledge. Isn't that fun? Don't say I never did nothing for you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and smash that young subscribe button, hit that like, leave a comment if you want me to review something else. I'll catch you later. Stay groovy, fam. See ya.